I have a 2007 Tacoma pickup truck, and I had decided that I want to be able to put the running boards on this truck. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to be able to do that and save a ton of money in the process. I did quite a bit of research on Amazon, and I decided to choose this set of running boards. Now with the coupon, they were priced at $174. I will say this, there are many different designs to choose from. One of the things that I wanted to be able to have in the running board is a wide footprint. I wanted to be able to have a good, easy platform to be able to step on to be able to get into the truck. And this particular set is a very wide track. This is 6.7 inches wide. And that's one of the key factors that I was looking for when I purchased these. And again, there are many different designs that are available, so you can choose whatever design works best for your needs. I will say this also, I checked with the local Toyota dealer to see what they would charge to be able to install the running boards. The running boards that they had available was only one design, and quite frankly, it was very similar to this design. But they wanted over $650 to be able to put them on. That was just way more than I wanted to spend. As I unpack all of these different parts, I always like to take an inventory just to make sure that everything was included. Now, one of the things that I found in the bottom of this box were some loose washers and some loose nuts. And quite frankly, that's never a good thing. So that means the package was probably broken open, and more than likely, there's going to be more parts missing. I also found a large hole at the end of the box, so I hope there's not more missing parts, like additional washers, nuts, or other items. After taking the inventory, I have all of the bolts, I have all of the nuts, but I am missing 2 washers. They didn't make the trip. In addition to that, there is supposed to be a wrench. I did not get that wrench. As you can see, that's a pretty specialized design, and as it turned out, that would have been a very important item to have. So that wrench was not included either, and that's the wrench, a picture of it right there. As far as the brackets, I do have all of the brackets that I need, and of course I have the running boards. Now this is a flange nut that is shown on here, and I did not get that. I just have a regular standard nut. And this is the nut that I actually received in the package. Now I'm going to go to the hardware store and pick up the flange type bolt, but I want to double check. It says that it's an M8, so I wanted to double check that. And yes, that is an M8, and of course that is a matching nut, but I wanted to make sure since they had shipped the wrong item. So it is an M8 by 1.25, which is the coarse thread. And so I'm going to run to the hardware store and pick up those flange nuts. I really don't want to use these nuts on the back side of the running board. Head size, of course, just so you know, is going to be the 13 millimeter, so that's going to be perfect there. On the front of the vehicle, we have these 2 screws right here that will come out. And this is toward the front, because that's the front wheel. These are the 2 middle screws, and down at the rear, we have 2 additional screws right there that'll come out. This is just a little plug that came out. Now all you really need to do is just take a flathead screwdriver and loosen these, and then they pop out. Now just to show you, all you need to do is just barely loosen these little plastic screws, and then from there, that little insert will just pop out. Now the good thing about it is these are already threaded and tapped to receive the bolts for the running board itself. And you can see down inside of there that the bolts are already pre-done. So that makes installation much easier. This large bracket actually goes into the front, closest to the front wheel. The other 2 brackets are identical, and they go into the middle and through the rear. To install this first slat on the front, it's just a matter of being able to put the flat washer through the bolt and then just put it through the bracket itself and screw it in. There is nothing complicated about this. Now you'll notice the bracket itself has a little slotted type hole there. That way you can get a good, solid, tight fit against the body of the truck. And that is very, very important. Make sure that it aligns where it sits very flat on the frame before you tighten this up. And again, I'm going to hand tighten this before I move forward. As a general rule, I always hand tighten all the different components first before I tighten them. And that way I can make any adjustments that are necessary, and this is no different. I'm going to hand tighten all of these brackets first before I come back and tighten them all with the wrench. I know lighting is an issue under the truck for the camera, but I think this is a good view. And all I need to do is just take the bolt, put the flat washer on, and then I'm going to put the bracket up in place. Now this bracket just has the 2 screws. I'm just going to simply put the first one in and screw it in. It really doesn't get a whole lot easier than this. This is not a complicated process to be able to do this, and it's just amazing at how much the dealership wanted to charge to be able to install these running boards. So after just a few minutes, all 3 of these brackets are installed and I'm ready to put the running board on. And quite frankly, that's pretty easy too, because literally the running board just sits right down on these 3 brackets. You can slide it left and right to get it positioned the way you want it, and then screw in the 2 bolts on each of the brackets. Now this is where that specialty wrench would really come in handy, because basically all you're going to do is take the bolt, put the washer on it, slip it through the hole on the bracket up through the running board itself, and then you got to be able to put that nut on, and that's where you need that special tool. Well, I didn't have that. Well, as it turns out, there is an opening on the ends where you can actually put your fingers in there to be able to put that nut on. And so that actually was fairly easy. The real problem was doing the center one. Now there's no good way to be able to show this on camera. I tried a bunch of different angles, really couldn't get anything to be able to show that. But as far as the process with the ends, like I said, you can just put your fingers in and you can tighten that bolt and then just use a regular wrench and tighten it up. Well, since I didn't have that special tool in the kit, I used the needle nose pliers. That was good enough to be able to put the pliers down through that little grate and be able to hold the nut long enough to be able to screw on that bolt. And then from there, I would just use the ratchet and be able to tighten it down. Do not use an impact driver. The impact driver was just too strong and it would mess up the head of the bolt. Ask me how I know that? Yes, I did mess up the head of a bolt, and quite frankly, if I had to do it over again, I'd buy a higher grade bolt to use for all of these. So this turned out to be a real good project. I'm happy with the upgrade, and I'm glad that I could save hundreds of dollars by being able to do it myself over the dealer price. Well, to summarize everything, this actually was a very easy installation. It is something that you can do without having any real mechanical experience, and it's a big savings. This was saving over $476, not counting the taxes that the dealer would charge to install this. So that was a huge plus. Now on the downside, as far as this particular company, quite frankly, this I would not do again. I would have to look and buy from a different company. Even though after doing the research, I chose this company, so that's on me. This is not a sponsored video. I bought this set. But I would highly recommend being able to put on the running boards. It really does make it a lot easier, and I think it looks good. But choose wisely as far as the style that you want. Look for the reviews and see what they say. I was not happy with the quality of the bolts themselves. They just seemed to be too soft of a metal. I was not happy with the fact that they did not send the flange nuts. They just sent a regular nut. So those are some of the things that I didn't like about this manufacturer. But as far as the ease of installation, great. As far as being a good DIY project, absolutely. And I'm going to like the end result of having these running boards on the truck. So thanks a lot for watching this video. And by all means, if you like it, you found it useful, give me a thumbs up, subscribe right down there below, And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So bye-bye, everyone. See you real soon.